Hi there, my name is Glenn Young. I work as a professional mountain guide in the United States and overseas. And today I wanted to share my favorite coil with you all. This is called the Alpine Coil. And like a lot of coils, it starts with the rope stacked on the ground here. So you can take a look. Stacking the rope essentially means that the bottom end, which I've separated, I usually separate my ends quite well when I stack, is on the very bottom, and then the rope is simply piled on top. It doesn't have to be piled in a particularly organized fashion. It's just piled on top until you reach the top end. And the tighter that pile is, a lot of times the easier the rope is going to pull off that pile. So I'm going to start with the end that's on top. I'm going to put it around the back of my neck, and I'm going to have one arm locked straight while the other arm moves. You may see methods of what's called flaking the rope over the neck where both arms are moving like this. A lot of times that's a little faster, but I find that it results in a little bit messier of a coil. And once you get some practice doing this, you can start going pretty quick. So once again, one arm is locked straight. That serves as a measuring tool to make sure that every time the length of the coil being put over the back of my neck is exactly the length of my arm, locked out straight. And then you can just start going faster, doing the same move. The other nice thing about coiling this way is it allows you to coil in tight spaces, which is common in alpine environments and rock climbing environments where you might have walls or ice close to you and you don't want to smack into the wall by reaching out with your arms. So we're going to take up almost the entire rope this way over the back of our neck, and then when we get to the last, say, 4 to 5 feet, we're going to stop. I'm going to take the rope off the back of my neck, and I'm going to put it in my hand. Now this is a 60-meter rope. That's 9.2 millimeters in dimension. That's quite a bit of rope. I have big hands, and I'm going to be able to hold it fairly well. With alpine ropes, a lot of them are 9 millimeters in dimension or even smaller when you're dealing with half ropes, for instance. It's a little easier to hold it, and a lot of times they're maybe 30 to 50 meters in size, so it's a lot easier. If you have small hands, this part might be a little bit more difficult. You might need to get creative. So I take it off the back of my neck, put it in my hand, and I have the tail of the rope facing away from me. Okay, so I'm going to do what's called a nail knot finish. So I take this rope and I'm going to make 2 bends in it. One like this, and then the second bend just behind it. And that second bend that I've made, I want to make sure is roughly centered over my rope if I want this to look very pretty. So I'm going to hold that up. I'm going to check. Okay, that's fairly well centered over the middle of the rope. Might move that over just a little bit. Okay. So it looks just like that. And now I'm going to take the end of the rope that I just made those bends with and pass it all the way around all of the coils. And each time I pass it over, I'm working toward the second loop that I made. Make sure that it's the second loop. You can see, so I'm overlapping. The next one's going to go here, the next one here, and so on and so forth. And each time I pass it around, I pull tight. And that's going to really make sure that this coil doesn't accidentally come apart. Okay, pulling it tight. Tight. Okay, and then when my loop is pretty much used up, or my tail is just about used up, I can reach in and pull on that if I need a little bit more, and I'm going to pass this tail up and through that loop, just like this. Okay, goes up through the loop, and then to cinch it, I find the other loop here, and I pull on one side. When I pull on one side, that nails this loose end in, and then you can pick it up and you see you have this nice neat coil. Now the reason that this is my favorite coil for managing the rope is because in the alpine environment or when you're rock climbing, you oftentimes have a backpack, and this will fit right over the top of the backpack, like so. Most backpacks that are intended for alpine climbing or rock climbing have a rope strap that will buckle over the top that you can cinch down, and oftentimes they have compression straps on the side. You can buckle around and cinch those down, and that prevents this from bouncing around. And then when you get to the base of some technical climbing or fifth class terrain, you just unclip that, pull this out, drop it, undo these coils from the nail knot, and generally, if you've done this well, you can belay right off of the coil. I always recommend that people stack the rope first, as we did in the beginning, just to ensure that there's no twists or tangles in it, even if it is done quite well. But this should make stacking the rope really quick and easy.